here, you're going to see that it's got the tape deck, it's got AM, FM, but that's it. And it has intercom, mute, and all this stuff for the intercom, right? So the problem is you can't just replace this. If you do, you need to replace it with something in marine grade so that it's water resistant, because this obviously isn't up in here. It's right here. So replacing this unit is not as simple as just pulling it out, putting something else in, like a car stereo, because it's not. So Bob would like some Bluetooth capability, and so what we're going to do is there's a hack to put an auxiliary port on this, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this all off, and we're going to do that hack and see if I can get a Bluetooth module hooked up in one of these side compartments, or maybe, you know, fastened up here or something like that, so Bob can connect Bluetooth. But the wire will be run down in here, and it's going to be hardwired to the main system board in here, and it creates an aux channel. Canada because
a boot. Not a boot. Sorry.
Welcome back to Trail Truck Garage. We're back on the Goldwing 1500 project that we're doing up. So this is the factory radio. Now the issues, I think I might have mentioned this in another video, but basically Honda's got this. This is on the kind of the middle console where your gas tank usually would be. It's not a matter of just replacing the radio. In the old Goldwings, they were up in the dash, and they were basically your standard single DIN radio that you could probably replace. I think Panasonic made them back in the 1200 days, 1100 days. Was Auto. There was a bunch of different ones anyway. The Vetter fairings had one that, you know, the front speakers and the stereo were in there. And they were much easier to change. And if that was the case, we could probably put like one of these new Bluetooth head units in. In the 1500 days, they decided to go to an integrated system that had the comm units all integrated into it. So J&M Corporation made the headsets for Honda line. Previous to that, you could buy a J&M system to go in your existing wing, and they're quite expensive, but Honda decided to include it all in the 1500. So this has a built-in tape deck, and you can go tape and radio, AM, FM, there's channel selections and all that sort of thing. You can switch between speakers or pumping it through the headsets. So replacing the head unit's a little difficult because it's all integrated. Plus it's water resistant. There is a cover to go over this, like if you were going to store it outside and you didn't want rain getting down in there. But if you're just driving along, the most of the stuff is water resistant. There's rubber gaskets around everything, and I've never seen one die because of water, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Not in my experience. So there's a few different ways to do a Bluetooth adapter for this. One of the, not the easiest maybe, but I think one of the better sound quality options is to connect a Bluetooth dongle, your generic everyday Bluetooth dongle you get on Amazon, and use that. But you need some way to connect that to here. And with the tape deck, you could use those old tape adapters, and that we mentioned in another video. But the audio quality of those was never that great. I saw another method, and this isn't my method. I don't even know who to credit at this point. I'm going to look it up here shortly. Just once we get this open. Somebody on, I don't know whether it's Goldwing Docs or Steve Sanders' Goldwing page, or somebody came up with it. And somebody had made a YouTube video about it. They didn't take credit for either. And no offense to them, but the video is really not that great. Like, it's lower quality. It's shot a few years ago, and I'm going to see if I can improve upon that a little bit. So we'll see. But we're going to open this up, and I don't know if I'm going to make this a how-to, because I'm not sure that I'm the best person to do that, but you can see how I'm going to do it, I guess, and I'll document it along the way. So we're going to flip this over and get it done. So let's start. So I've never watched a tutorial. I mean, other than that guy's tutorial, but it wasn't very, like I said, it wasn't very, he was a little shy in the details. So he said just refer to the web page where he got the idea from, and just glossed over most of that. So just in case you're, don't like to read, or you don't want to go to the web page, I'm just gonna see if I can show you in a YouTube video, which sometimes it's easier for people just to watch. Okay, I suppose there's gonna be a piece of this rubber. And there's our lonely last screw. I'm gonna go see if I can find that web page. All right, I got the website up. So it was Goldwing docs. All right, we're looking at this area right here. We're looking for the preamps. So we've got to take the board out and we got to flip it around. You need a blank tape that has all the guts out of it, because you're fooling the tape player in this radio into thinking that it's an aux channel. So you just need a tape in there so that the board senses that there's a tape in the drive, and it thinks it's playing a tape when really it's playing aux. It's playing the aux. Now, normally we'd have to take all of these cables off. I wonder if I can get away with that. I should probably take a picture of it. So be gentle when you're pulling these out. Sometimes it helps to have a little something. Just make sure that you're not yanking on cords, and make sure you're not jabbing down into the board with a metal object, because that just won't do. Now, sometimes it's good to have a couple of those tools that you use, like they send out in cell phone repair. These ones. They're cheap and crappy, but they can kind of help with get some of this stuff up, and not they're not metal, right? So there we go. So let's set this aside, and we're looking for the preamps. Set left channel is in this space right here. And that's the right channel there. So right channel, and I'm just going to put, so right channel, and we see the left channel was, that's 1, 2, follow that trace down to that channel right there. So it's this one right here, boom. Okay. And then the ground is up there. There's 2 traces right there. And so that's the ground right there. So, boom, boom, boom. I got myself an aux cable, really long extension cable, which we're going to chop down. And then I'll have to find a tape. Might need a little magnification here. Boom. Now, the copper is the ground. Red for right. Oh, yes. Red for right. And this we're just gonna redo slightly. Yeah, okay. Okay, I guess then we're gonna hot glue her. Better get my hot glue gun. All right, I'd say we've got her. Let's see how this cover goes back on. And I wrote this cord somewhere out. Maybe I'll write it right through there. Don't want any sharp edges. Let's bring it through here. Three. Maybe it doesn't matter. I think they're all the same, maybe. Well, I guess that's it for now. So we now have that aux cable. So I've got a Bluetooth adapter downstairs. We'll check out. And the second part of this is once we get this all hooked back up and we test it, we need to power that Bluetooth connector, or Dave's going to have to keep charging it some other way. Either we're going to come up with a USB to USB, or I'm going to wire it directly into the bike's wiring. Yeah, there's a couple of different ways we're going to do that. Either we tear apart one of those USB charging things, because basically that the dongle is going to charge on 5 volts. It's not going to charge on 12 volts, because that's what USB is powered by. So if you're powered by USB, you're powered by 5 volts, I do believe. Anyway, right. So we're going to have to come up with a way to charge that off the bike's wiring, off the regular 12 volt DC somewhere. Anyway, we'll figure something out. Put a USB, maybe a dual USB charging plug on the bike, and then wire that into it. Something. We'll do something. Anyway, that's another video for this. We're done until I get this all wired back up and testing, which you should see in the next clip. It probably might be days or weeks for me, but it'll only be a minute for you. Obviously, if we're in the editing room, something didn't happen with that project. So here I have in my hands one GL1500 radio. So there was some more things filmed. We did get to the testing phase. I wired it back up to the bike, and actually you're going to see some clips of some other projects going on with the bike, where this radio is just sitting on top of the airbox, you know, kind of wired in. But we've discovered there was some other issues with the radio and the wiring in general. So Dave and I talked it over, and we decided to go in a different direction. So I never had to wire in any USB adapters or charging units. So would have been an interesting project to film, but at this point we don't need to. So we went in a completely different direction, and you will get to see that in a future video. But I didn't want to leave the video there and then have you go, "Whoa, what the heck happened with that?" Because we're not going to go back to it, and I can't remember if I ever filmed anything explaining why. So I thought I'd just add this little excerpt in post-production to kind of explain why this project. I debated even to put this video up, to be honest with you, just because it was a fail. But I talked about it in earlier videos, and it was really hard to edit that out. And somebody may find this useful if they've got a Goldwing that's got a good working radio and everything's in a good working order. Then you might find this helpful, because it's a viable option on getting Bluetooth connectivity, or even just any type of aux channel on one of these older wings. And I think I've said this before, but I think it's worth saying again that there's a lot of these bikes out there. So this is probably a worthwhile mod to upgrade some of these bikes. However, if you do want to go in the direction I end up going, then stay tuned to the channel, see what we ended up doing, because I think that's a very viable option. It has some drawbacks in relation to the intercom system and the CB system and whatnot, but as I'll explain in those further videos, the reasons we chose to go this direction anyway. So if you like this kind of content and you want to see more of it, like and subscribe. If you've caught this video or this series and you haven't discovered our main channel, Trail Trash ADV, go on over and check that out. It's mostly off-road stuff, but there's some good content, gear reviews, and some antics and that kind of thing. So go check it out and see if you enjoy that sort of stuff. Anyway, for Trail Trash Garage, this is Jeff. Catch you on the next video. You know we're in Canada because...
A boot! That's a boot! Sorry.